My guests today are the human masterminds behind Gorillaz, who have just released their third album together on this. Let's talk about Plastic Beach. I mean, obviously there's so many environmental and ecological themes, not only in the title itself, but in the song. So what was the inspiration behind this album, calling it Plastic Beach?
Well, it actually... Were you there? You were there at the time. Well, we're in the countryside, near a beach. One I go to regularly because I have a house next to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not quite Malibu, but it's, you know, it's an English version of.
It's nicer than where I live, so that's good to hear.
I just kind of was meditating on all the very fine little bits of plastic that are on the beach, you know, and the bigger stuff that comes in on stormy tides, you know, and I just thought plastic and beach, it sounded kind of fun, but also it was quite moving, the thought of the transformation of all our beaches to just eventually sort of minuscule bits of plastic which are slowly kind of swirling around the oceans and going into the food chain and just changing quite gently the nature of things. And then we kind of sort of thought, well, that's a nice starting point. I mean, and then Jamie started to think about it in terms of, well,
then we realised there were actual beaches or actual areas of land in the South Pacific that were made up of
Googled
junk.
the word plastic beach, and there were discussions like one in Hawaii where there'd been lots, and there were two. We found that there's quite a lot of plastic and beach sort of search stations. So
it's an interesting juxtaposition, actually.
Yeah.
It's like the natural and the synthetic.
Exactly.
But,
and then kind of sort of you can look at all the stuff like Las Vegas, the beaches in Las Vegas and in Japan and China, they have these artificial seaside resorts, and you know, so there was a lot of stuff to play with, really. And then I found that was quite an easy thing to sort of think about when I was writing.
Yeah. Well, you got a beautiful album about it, and we're going to see the video for Stylo. Actually, we got to get to it right now. Let's check out. Here is Stylo by the Gorillaz. I'm here with Damon and Jamie from Gorillaz. Now, on this album, you guys have an all-star lineup, and it's a cool range of artists. You have everyone from Snoop Dogg to Lou Reed to Mick Jones. I mean, what was the strangest collaboration or the most interesting or unexpected collaboration? Any stories?
Well, the one who didn't actually make the record is a Bedouin singer called Bedouin, for anyone who doesn't know, is a kind of lifestyle, a traditional lifestyle in the Middle East where you travel with your tent and your camels, and you don't necessarily have a, you know, we call them gypsies, but they're not gypsies.
Right. They're nomads.
They're nomads.
Nomads,
exactly,
perhaps, travelers.
Yeah.
What can we hear that though? Will it ever be released? Did it make this album?
Yeah, it will. But this guy Omar Suleiman, he's. I mean, if you walked in here now, he'd look like. I don't know how you perceive him. You perceive him as one of those kind of sort of slightly enigmatic characters you see on the news in the background in Iraq or Saudi Arabia or something. Very, very traditional dress.
How did you hook up with such an interesting?
Well, I'd heard his records because I'm really into Arabic music and all strains of it, from the sacred to the secular. Yeah, got a chance because we were going to Syria where he lives. Actually, we were going to go to his town or his village, but it's right on the Iraqi border, and there's a lot of traffic of kind of slightly undesirable sort of rogue people who, you know, hang out there who might want to kidnap you. If
might or might not want to kidnap you. I love that you're working with Bedouins and then Snoop. We got more with Gorillaz, but right now here's Adam Lambert with What Do You Want From Me at number 16. That's the full. My guests today are the Gorillaz, Damon and Jamie. So I want to talk about one of the songs off the album, White Flag. You guys put out a vinyl version in honor of Record Day, which was last week, I believe. So do you guys still buy vinyl? Like, how do you guys feel about purchasing tangible music versus downloading?
Well, I mean, actually, that's the reason why I put out the Blur single, was for Record Day.
So that's, okay, because I wanted to ask you about
I was asked, I knew about White Flag being put out, I was asked, do you want to put some rare Blur tunes on a 7-inch for, and I think just the idea of the record shop somewhere, a kind of community in a neighbourhood where people can go and get excited about music that isn't yet another chat room or whatever. Somewhere you can physically look someone in the eyes and go, I love this, or I really don't like that. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think it's a really beautiful thing, like libraries. I think
that's something that we
meditation on the music, in the sense, and the ritual of it, of taking and physically owning something and it emanating out the speakers in that. But you can see it actually playing as well.
And that's why you put out the Blur single.
Well, I thought, well, what's the best way to highlight that? It's just go in and make a new song, and it turned out really great.
Are there any more Blur songs we should know about coming out?
Well, I think I'll do the same thing when I've got time. I'll just go in and have fun and put out some more 7-inch singles over whenever, you know. And if at the end of it there's an album, like in a year and a half's time, then great. But
ooh. Wow.
But it's no promises or anything. I just
no promises.
Well, it's not my job really. It's not my job. My work is Gorillaz.
Right, of
now.
course.
I mean, we've got like 60, 70 people that we're sort of gamefully employing.
Well, I'm staying tuned on Blur, but I have to tell you guys, I absolutely love Plastic Beach. So thank you for doing everything you do, and you keep drawing. Do you still have the energy for this? I mean, it's like incessant for you. Jamie's had enough.
Of course I have. Of course I have. That's what I love to do.
Guys, well, honestly, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for continuing to draw, because we love your animations and all of your work. Guys, pick up Plastic Beach. It's in stores now, and right now, it's number 15 on the countdown. It's Timbaland and Timberlake with Carry Out. Yes.